Dancing in the afternoon sunlight, the dust motes swirl as my fingers trace the lines on yellowed parchment. Sprawling across the brittle paper is the family tree, its branches extending in all directions. But what catches my eye are the gaps. Dozens of them. Names that end abruptly. Branches cut short with no explanation. Just emptiness. My name is Eleanor Webb. It was 2 weeks ago that I inherited my grandmother's Victorian house in New England. I never expected to find myself here, sorting through centuries of family history. But after Gran's funeral, the family lawyer handed me the keys with the words, "She wanted you to have it. Only you." I didn't understand why. Only a handful of times as a child had I visited the house. A falling out with Gran is what my father had when I was young, and afterward, we rarely spoke of her. When I asked why, he would tense up and say, "Some family is better kept at a distance." Now, at 32, with both my parents gone and no siblings, I found myself the reluctant caretaker of a family legacy I barely understood. The house itself is a looming 3-story Victorian, all peaked roofs and narrow windows, sitting on the outskirts of a small coastal town called Ravens Hollow. The local legends say the town was founded by people fleeing witch trials in the 1700s. Whether that's true or not, there's something undeniably eerie about the place. The locals are polite but reserved, and since I arrived, I've caught more than a few curious glances. Along one of the branches of the Webb family tree, I trace my finger, following it to one of those mysterious gaps. Elizabeth Webb, born 1887, and then, nothing. No death date, no connecting lines to children, just gone, like so many others. What happened to you? I whisper, as if the paper might answer back. A floorboard creaks behind me, and I jump, nearly knocking over the desk lamp. It's just the house settling, I tell myself, though I can't shake the feeling of being watched. Strange things I've been finding all week. Hidden compartments in the walls were filled with old letters, photographs with faces scratched out, and Gran's journals, dozens of them, filled with cryptic references to the family burden and keeping the bloodline pure. Today, I found this family tree tucked behind a false panel in the library. It's the most complete record I've found so far, dating back to the 1700s. But these gaps, they can't all be coincidences. My phone buzzes. A text from Dr. Harrison, the local historian I've been consulting, lights up the screen. "Found something in town records about your family. Call me." On the second ring, he picks up. "Eleanor. I was going through some old census data and I noticed something odd about the Webbs." "Let me guess," I say. "People disappearing without explanation." "Yes, exactly," he says, sounding surprised. "How did you know?" I tell him about the family tree. "It's not just 1 or 2 people, Dr. Harrison. It's dozens across generations." "That's unusual," he says carefully. "I also found references to something called the preservation, in connection with your family. Does that mean anything to you?" I think of Gran's journals. "Maybe. I need to look into it more. Thank you for letting me know." After hanging up, I return to the family tree, studying it more carefully. Something I missed before, I notice. Small symbols next to some of the names. A circle with a dot in the center, always next to people who disappeared. The doorbell rings, startling me again. On the porch, I find an elderly woman standing, leaning on a cane. "You must be Eleanor," she says. "I'm Margaret Winters. I was friends with your grandmother." I invite her in, and she settles into an armchair in the living room, her eyes darting around as if looking for something. Without preamble, she says, "I came to warn you. This house, it has secrets. Secrets that should stay buried." "What kind of secrets?" I ask, thinking of the family tree. Margaret's eyes lock onto mine. "Your grandmother was a keeper, like her mother before her. It's in your blood, too, I expect." "A keeper of what?" She shakes her head. "I've said too much already." Just be careful what doors you open in this house. Some were closed for a reason. She stands abruptly. I should go. They wouldn't like me talking to you. Who wouldn't like it? I ask, but she's already heading for the door. If you start hearing the humming, she says over her shoulder, cover your ears and run. Don't listen, no matter how beautiful it sounds. And then she's gone, leaving me with more questions than answers. That night, I dream of dark corridors and whispered voices. At 3:17 a.m., I wake up, sweating despite the chill in the room. My bedroom door is open, though I'm certain I closed it before going to bed. I get up to close it, and as I reach for the handle, I hear it. A faint humming coming from somewhere deep within the house. A melody that sounds almost familiar, yet not quite human. Margaret's warning echoes in my mind. If you start hearing the humming, cover your ears and run. Instead, I grab my phone for light and step into the hallway. Slightly louder, the humming grows as I move toward the stairs. It's coming from below. Under my weight, the stairs creak as I descend to the first floor. To the library where I found the family tree, the humming leads me, but it doesn't stop there. It seems to be coming from below the floor. Along the baseboards, I run my hands, looking for anything unusual. In the corner of the room, behind a heavy bookcase, I find it. A small indentation in the wood. When I press it, there's a click and a section of the floor slides away, revealing a narrow staircase descending into darkness. From down there, the humming is definitely coming. Common sense tells me to call someone, to wait until morning, but something pulls at me. I need to know, to understand what happened to all those missing relatives. Down the stairs, I shine my phone light. They're made of stone, worn smooth in the center from countless feet. How old is this passage? And in my explorations of the house, how did I miss it? Taking a deep breath, I begin to descend. With each step, the air grows colder, carrying a musty, metallic scent. Abruptly, the humming stops, replaced by a silence so complete it feels like pressure against my eardrums. At the bottom of the stairs is a heavy wooden door with an iron handle. No lock, no markings, just waiting to be opened. I hesitate, Margaret's warning ringing in my ears. But I've come this far. I pull the handle and the door swings open with surprising ease. Beyond lies a cellar larger than should be possible given the size of the house above. My phone light barely penetrates the darkness, but I can make out stone walls lined with shelves and what looks like laboratory equipment on tables in the center of the room. I step inside and the door swings shut behind me with a heavy thud. I spin around, heart racing, but there's no handle on this side, just smooth wood. I'm trapped. Trying not to panic, I turn back to the room. As my eyes adjust to the darkness, I notice a switch on the wall. I flip it and ancient electric lights sputter to life, illuminating the cellar in a harsh glow. What I see makes my blood run cold. The room is indeed a laboratory of sorts, but unlike any I've seen before. The shelves along the walls hold hundreds of glass jars, each containing what looks like organs, tissue samples. Each jar is meticulously labeled with names and dates. With trembling hands, I approach the nearest shelf. At eye level, the jar is labeled Elizabeth Webb, 1887. Cerebrum. Elizabeth from the family tree. The one with no death date. I move along the shelf, reading more labels. Thomas Webb, 1912. Mary Webb, 1943. All names from the gaps in the family tree. In the center of the room stands a large stone table, its surface stained dark with what I fear is blood. Leather restraints hang from each corner. Beside it, a smaller table holds surgical instruments that look centuries old alongside more modern equipment, syringes, vials, a centrifuge. On a desk in the corner, I find stacks of notebooks, the handwriting changing over the decades, but the purpose seemingly the same. I open the most recent one, dated just a year before Gran died. Subject 147 shows promising adaptation to the serum. Cellular regeneration improved by 42% compared to subject 146. The preservation continues to advance, though slower than our ancestors hoped. With each generation, we come closer to the ultimate goal, true immortality. I flipped through more pages, horrified yet unable to stop reading. The notebooks detail experiments spanning centuries. Experiments on family members who showed signs of what they called the gift. Those without it were allowed to live normal lives, marry, have children, continuing the bloodline in hopes of producing more with the gift. Those who had it were brought to this cellar. A noise from behind makes me whirl around. A panel in the wall has slid open, revealing another room, and silhouetted in the doorway is a figure I recognize from photographs. My great-uncle Walter, who supposedly died 30 years ago, except he doesn't look like he's in his 90s. He looks maybe 60, his face unnaturally smooth for his age. "Eleanor," he says, his voice raspy from disuse. "We've been waiting for you to find your way down here. Your grandmother was certain you had the gift." "Uncle Walter." I back away until I hit the desk. "You're alive." In a manner of speaking. He steps fully into the room and I see that his movements are stiff, unnatural. The preservation is not perfect yet. We sustain ourselves, but at a cost. What cost? I ask, though I fear I know the answer. The specimens you see around you, he gestures to the jars, are failed attempts, parts that couldn't be repurposed. My stomach churns. You've been experimenting on our family. Killing them. Not killing, Walter corrects. Preserving what makes us special. The gift is rare, even in our bloodline. When we find one who has it, we must harvest it for the greater work. What gift? What are you talking about? Regeneration, Eleanor. Healing. Longevity. Some in our family are born with cells that can repair themselves indefinitely. The first Webb to discover this was Josiah in 1764. He dedicated his life to understanding it, to replicating it. Every generation since has continued his work. Including my voice catches. Especially your grandmother. She was brilliant. Made more progress in her lifetime than the previous 3 generations combined. He takes a step toward me. And she was certain you inherited the gift. That's why she left you the house. She wanted you to continue her work. By experimenting on people. Killing family members. I shake my head. I would never. You misunderstand. We don't seek out those with the gift to harm them. His smile makes my skin crawl. We seek them out to welcome them into the inner family, to make them like us. And what exactly are you? I ask, though I'm not sure I want the answer. Walter's smile widens, revealing teeth that are too perfect, too white. Improved. Enhanced. The closest thing to immortal this world has seen. From the room behind him, more figures emerge. Men and women of various ages, all with that same unnatural smoothness to their skin, that same stiffness in their movements. I recognize some from family photographs. My great-aunt Judith, my second cousin Thomas, and my father. Dad? I whisper, tears welling in my eyes. The man who looks like my father regards me with cold eyes. Hello, Eleanor. It's been a long time. You're not my father, I say, backing away further. My father is dead. I buried him. You buried a body, he corrects. I left when I realized what your grandmother planned for you. I tried to keep you away from all this. But in the end, blood calls to blood. What do you want from me? I demand, trying to keep my voice steady. We want you to join us, Walter says. To become part of the preservation. Your grandmother tested your blood when you were a child. You have the strongest markers for the gift that we've seen in generations. And if I refuse? The room falls silent. Then Walter sighs. No one refuses, Eleanor. This is your heritage. Your destiny. I glance around frantically, looking for a way out. The door I came through is sealed. The group of, whatever they are, blocks the other exit. And then I notice something. A small red button under the desk, partially hidden. An alarm? A different exit? Either way, it's my only chance. I need time, I say, trying to sound reasonable. To process all this. It's a lot to take in. Walter exchanges glances with the others. Of course. We've waited decades. We can wait a little longer. He gestures to the notebooks. Read your grandmother's research. Understand the importance of what we're doing here. The preservation isn't just about extending our lives. It's about elevating humanity. As he speaks, I inch my hand toward the button. My fingers brush against it just as Walter's eyes narrow in suspicion. What are you? I slam my palm down on the button. For a moment, nothing happens. Then a high-pitched wailing fills the cellar and the lights begin to flash red. The floor trembles beneath my feet. No. Walter lunges toward me, but he's too late. The ceiling of the cellar cracks and chunks of stone begin to fall. The others scatter, screaming. I dive under the desk as a support beam crashes down where I was standing. What have you done? Walter shouts over the alarm. You've triggered the purge protocol. The what? I yell back. If the cellar is compromised, everything is destroyed. Your grandmother installed it as a fail-safe. The room continues to shake, more debris falling. The shelves of specimens topple, glass shattering across the floor. I see Walter and the others retreating through the hidden door, abandoning me to my fate. Water begins to pour in from cracks in the walls. No, not water. It smells like gasoline. I need to get out. Now. I scramble from under the desk and make a run for the hidden door, dodging falling debris. The gasoline is ankle-deep already, and I can see sparks from damaged electrical wires. I reach the door just as it begins to slide closed. I throw myself forward, barely making it through before it seals shut with a hiss. I find myself in a narrow tunnel, dimly lit by emergency lights. Behind me, I hear a whoosh and feel intense heat as the gasoline ignites. The tunnel shudders with the force of the explosion. I run blindly forward, following the tunnel as it slopes upward. After what seems like an eternity, I reach another door. I push through it and emerge into the night air, gasping. I'm in the woods behind the house. From here, I can see flames erupting from the ground floor windows as the fire spreads upward from the cellar. In the distance, I hear sirens. Someone must have seen the flames. I should wait for help. Tell the authorities everything. But something tells me they wouldn't believe me. And if any of those things survived, they might be looking for me. I need to get away. To figure out what to do next. As I turn to flee into the woods, I feel a hand grasp my ankle. I scream and kick, looking down to see Walter's face, half burned, but still moving. Still alive despite injuries that should be fatal. The gift, he gasps, his fingers digging into my skin. You have it, too. I can feel it. You'll heal like we do. Join us, Eleanor. Continue the work. I kick free of his grasp and stagger backward. Never. This ends with me. Walter laughs, a horrible sound from his damaged throat. It never ends. The preservation goes back centuries. We have contingencies, other labs, other branches of the family. My blood runs cold. What do you mean, other branches? Your grandmother wasn't the only keeper, he says, his body beginning to twitch unnaturally as some kind of healing process attempts to repair his burns. The Webb family is vast, with many gaps in its history. Many cellars like this one. I back away, shaking my head. I'll find them. I'll stop all of you. You can try. Walter's laugh turns into a cough as his damaged lungs struggle. But first, you'd better run. Because when I finish healing, I'm coming for you. And I'm not the only one. I turn and sprint into the woods, not looking back, even as the house that held my family's darkest secrets burns to the ground behind me. I run until my lungs burn and my legs threaten to give out. When I finally stop to catch my breath, I pull out my phone. No signal out here in the woods. I need to get to town. To warn someone, though, who would believe me. I have no proof now. Just the ravings of a woman who claims her family has been conducting immortality experiments for centuries. As I lean against a tree, trying to decide what to do next, I notice something strange. A cut on my hand from climbing through the tunnel is already scabbing over. A cut that should be fresh and bleeding. It's healing too fast. I think of Walter's words. You have it, too. You'll heal like we do. The gift. Whatever it is, whatever they've been searching for all these generations. I might have it. No. I refuse to accept that I'm like them. That I'm destined to become one of those hollow-eyed, stiff-moving creatures who sacrifice their own family for the sake of prolonging their unnatural lives. But if I do have this ability, I can use it to stay ahead of them. To find the other labs Walter mentioned. To end this once and for all. I push off from the tree and continue walking, following the distant lights of the town. As I walk, I think about the family tree with all its mysterious gaps. Now I know what those gaps represent. Not deaths, but transformations. People taken to become part of the inner family. Their organs and tissues harvested if they failed. Their minds warped if they survived. I wonder how many other family trees have similar gaps. How many other families harbor secrets as dark as the Webbs? By dawn, I reach the outskirts of town. I steal into a small motel and pay cash for a room, giving a false name. Once inside, I examine myself in the bathroom mirror. The cut on my hand is completely healed. Not even a scar remaining. And now that I'm looking for it, I notice other small injuries. A bruise on my arm from hitting the desk, a scrape on my cheek from debris, all healing before my eyes. I do have it. The gift. I sink to the bathroom floor, tears streaming down my face. What am I? What am I becoming? No. I am still Eleanor Webb. I am not defined by my DNA or by my family's twisted legacy. I will use whatever abilities I have to stop them, not join them. I take a shower, washing away the soot and grime from the cellar. Then I sit down with the motel's complimentary notepad and begin to write everything I can remember from the notebooks I saw, names, dates, locations that might lead to other labs. I need to be methodical. I need to be careful. The inner family, as Walter called them, has had centuries to establish themselves, to hide their work. They won't be easy to find or to stop. But I have something they don't expect, one of their own, working against them. As I write, I realize something else. If my father was one of them, was my mother as well? Was I born, or was I created as part of their experiments? I push the thought aside. It doesn't matter now. What matters is stopping them before they can continue their work. Before more names disappear from more family trees. A soft knock at my door makes me freeze. I wait, barely breathing. The knock comes again, followed by a whisper. Eleanor. It's Margaret Winters. Please, I know you're in there. I want to help. I approach the door cautiously. How did you find me? I've been watching the house, she says through the door. I saw the fire, saw you escape. Please let me in. We don't have much time. I hesitate, then unlock the door. Margaret slips inside, looking even more frail in the harsh motel lighting. You opened the cellar, she says. It's not a question. I nod. You knew about it all along. I was supposed to be part of it, she says, sitting heavily on the edge of the bed. Your grandmother and I grew up together. When we were teenagers, they tested us both. She had the gift. I didn't. So they let you go. I say, understanding now. Not exactly. They keep people like me around as watchers, as helpers. People who know enough to be useful, but not enough to be dangerous. She meets my gaze. Until now. Now I'm choosing to be dangerous. Why help me? Because I've watched for 70 years as they took people, good people, down to that cellar. I've helped cover up disappearances, spread stories about accidents and illnesses. Her hands twist in her lap. I'm tired of being part of it, Eleanor. And when I saw you, you reminded me so much of your grandmother before the preservation consumed her. Before she became one of them. What exactly are they? I asked. Walter said. They're not quite immortal, but they call themselves the preserved. Their bodies heal, but their minds, something happens to them over time. They lose their humanity, piece by piece. The older ones, the ones who've been around for centuries, they're barely human at all anymore. A chill runs down my spine. And they want me to become like them. You're special, even among those with the gift. Your grandmother's tests showed that your cells have an unusually strong regenerative capacity. That's why she left you the house. Why she made sure you'd find your way to the cellar eventually. So it was all a setup. The inheritance. Everything. Margaret nods. But the fire, that wasn't part of the plan. The purge protocol was only supposed to be used if outsiders discovered the cellar. Your grandmother never imagined you would trigger it. I didn't know what it would do, I say. I just needed to escape. Well, you've bought us some time. The fire will have destroyed most of the evidence, and many of the preserved who were there will be severely injured. It will take them time to heal. To regroup. Walter said there are other labs. Other branches of the family. Yes. The Webbs are just one branch of what they call the family tree. There are others. Different names, but the same goal. The preservation of their bloodlines. The pursuit of immortality. I show her my list of locations I remembered from the notebooks. Do you know which of these might lead to other labs? She studies the list, then points to several names. These towns. All have Webb relatives. Or relatives of the other branches. Start with these. Will you come with me? I ask. Margaret shakes her head. I'm too old. Too slow. I'd only hold you back. But I can give you resources. Money. Contacts who might help. She reaches into her purse and pulls out a thick envelope. Take this. It's everything I've saved over the years. I always knew someday I'd need to make amends for my part in all this. I accept the envelope hesitantly. Thank you. But what will you do now? They'll know you helped me. Don't worry about me, she says with a grim smile. I've lived a long life already. Longer than I deserved, given what I've enabled. She stands to leave, then turns back. One more thing, Eleanor. The gift, it comes with a price. The more you heal, the more you use it, the more you'll start to change. Be careful. Don't become what you're fighting against. After Margaret leaves, I count the money in the envelope. Nearly $30,000 in cash. Along with it is a list of names and addresses, people she says might help me, and a small key with no indication of what it opens. I spend the next few days gathering supplies and information. I buy a used car with cash, a prepaid phone, clothes, and other necessities. I research the towns on my list, looking for patterns, for signs of the preserved's presence. All the while, I keep checking my body for signs of change. The gift is active. Small injuries heal within hours, but I feel the same mentally. Not like the cold, hollow-eyed creatures I saw in the cellar. Not yet, anyway. 1 week after the fire, I'm ready to leave Ravens Hollow. I've chosen my first destination, a small town in the Midwest where, according to my research, several Webb cousins live. It's as good a place as any to start unraveling this conspiracy. As I pack the car, I notice a black sedan parked across the street, its windows tinted. I pretend not to see it as I finish loading my bags, but my heart races. They've found me. I get in my car and pull out of the motel parking lot, watching in the rearview mirror as the sedan follows at a distance. Instead of heading for the highway, I drive toward the center of town, making random turns, trying to lose my tail. The sedan stays with me, maintaining the same distance. Whoever is driving knows what they're doing. I decide to confront them. I pull into the parking lot of a busy diner and get out, standing beside my car, waiting. The sedan parks a few spaces away. The driver's door opens and a woman steps out. Young, maybe mid-20s, with features that remind me somehow of my own. Eleanor Webb, she calls, staying beside her car. Who's asking? I reply, tense and ready to run if necessary. My name is Sophia Blackwood. I believe we're cousins. Several times removed. She takes a step forward, then stops when I back away. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm like you. A runner. Not one of the preserved. Prove it, I demand. She rolls up her sleeve, revealing a forearm crisscrossed with scars. I cut out my tracker 5 years ago. The preserved embed them in all family members with the gift. You probably have one, too. I instinctively touch my left forearm, remembering a small scar I've had since childhood. A vaccination, my parents told me. How did you find me, then? I ask. Margaret Winters contacted me before she died. My blood runs cold. Before she, what? Sophia's expression softens. I'm sorry. She took her own life the day after she met with you. Left a note exposing everything she knew about the Webb branch of the preservation. The local authorities dismissed it as the ravings of a disturbed old woman, but the preserved know better. Margaret. Another name to add to the toll of this nightmare. Why should I trust you? I ask. Because I've been where you are. I discovered my family's secret when I was 20. I've been running ever since, looking for others like us. There are more, Eleanor. More who want to stop the preservation, not further it. Others with the gift. She nods. We call ourselves the severed branches. We use what we are to fight what they do. Hope flickers in my chest for the first time since I opened that cellar door. How many of you are there? Not many. Dozens, scattered across the country. The preserved are powerful, with resources we can only dream of. But we're growing. Finding more like you. Family members who reject what their relatives have become. I think of Walter's burned face. Of his promise to find me. Of the other labs, the other branches of this twisted family tree. What's your plan? I ask. How do we stop them? We find their labs. Like you were planning to do. We document everything. Build a case that can't be ignored or dismissed. And then we take it public. All of it. Every horrible detail. They'll just disappear. Go deeper underground. Sophia shakes her head. Not if we cut off their supply. The gift is rare, even in the bloodlines they cultivate. If we can identify those who have it and protect them, the preserved will eventually die out. Not quickly. Some of them have been alive for centuries. But eventually. It sounds too simple, and I say so. I didn't say it would be easy, Sophia replies. Just possible. With your help. I study her face, looking for signs of deception. But all I see is the same determination I feel, the same horror at what our families have done. If I come with you, I say slowly, I need to know everything. No more secrets. No more secrets, she agrees. Get in your car and follow me. Our safe house is about 2 hours from here. I'll explain everything on the way. As I drive behind Sophia's sedan, heading away from Raven's Hollow and the burned ruins of my grandmother's house, I think about the family tree I found with all its mysterious gaps. Now I know what those gaps represent. Choices. Some chose to preserve their humanity at the cost of their lives. Others chose extended life at the cost of their souls. I don't know yet if I can trust Sophia or these severed branches she speaks of, but I do know that I've made my choice. Whatever this gift is, whatever it might turn me into, I will use it to expose the truth. To stop the preservation. To fill in those gaps with the stories of those who were taken. The road stretches ahead, leading away from the ruins of my past and toward an uncertain future. But for the first time since I opened that cellar door, I feel something like purpose. I will find every branch of this twisted family tree. I will open every hidden cellar. I will bring their secrets into the light. And perhaps, in doing so, I'll discover who and what I truly am.